Okay, Chaf Beis Amid Aleph. We're at the top. We're in the middle of a digression, which is always welcome. It's always welcome. Digression. Exactly what is an Amoritz? You have to know what to ask. Anyway, Gary, what was Gary? What's my line? Gary, what was his name? The guy wants my line. Gary. No. No. Okay. Anyway, Kitty Carlisle. Itma. Kara. Right. Kara. You learn Chumash, the Shana, and you learn Mishnayos. Leishimish Talmidei Chachamim. And Rabbi Lezer is of the opinion how you say Amaretz. That's an Amaretz. That's an Amaretz. He won't learn what to do. He knows things, but he doesn't know how to apply them correctly, and obviously apply them incorrectly. Shmuel Bar Nachmani Yama, how is that bur? He's a bur. So we have to see the difference between a bur and an Amaretz. Rabbi Yana Yama, how is that kuti? We have to see the difference between that. Achabe Yaakov Yama, how is that mogush? He's a magician. Let's see Rashi, guys. Okay, the first Rashi. Leishimish Tamid Chachamim, top line. Lilmoid Svara Sangamara. The time HaMishnah. Mahin. In other words, he learns Mishnayos, but he doesn't know the reasons behind them. Rashahu. He's a Rasha. Why? Shein Tayrasai Al Buria. His Torah is not incorrect. They in Lilmoid Imenu Shali, and you won't learn from him. Shaydei Ataimim Yishchilik Be'isa Beheter, Ubedin Imaminis L'Schus L'Chayev, Ubetyrus L'Tami L'Tahar, Kidama become a Duchti and Shas, my Taima, Marhochi, by Binayu. In other words, the Gemara goes through the analysis of everything. It could be Binayu, Kach V'Kach, V'Aramhu. So he's a Russia. You know why he's a Russia? Because he's going to pay. These people are going to think this guy is a tzaddik. You know, he learns. He knows Mishnayos. However, V'Aramhu, he's cunning. So Shemeyatz Koiloi Shoyne Mishnayos. You see him shuckling and the Mizrach Vant and saying over Mishnayos. So again, guys, remember they didn't have svarim. So this is all about peh. This is all about peh. They didn't have svarim. It's all about peh.
But not knowing the reason, isn't that moving shooter?
What? It's not to him. It's to him. That guy makes himself look like he's a chashuv guy.
He learns he doesn't know the reason. That's right?
Again, not talking about Bisman Azeh. Here's a guy in the time of the Gemara who knew Mishnayos by heart. He recite them, but he doesn't understand the Gemara, the explanation of them. Doesn't understand the explanation of them. So he's not learning Lishma because he's learning for Kavod. He's learning for Kavod. So he's Aram because he's going to trick people into thinking Kasavahu Shebaki B'Tamehem. He's an expert in the reasons. V'noig b'Kavod Kid Talmidei Chachamim, and they're going to be noig Kavod like a Talmid Chacham. Now I saw a pshat, guys. Bisman said it doesn't apply because when we learn Mishnayos, you have the Taisus Yontif, you have the Rav. We do it all inside. You're not just reciting it up here. So no one. You're not walking into shul and seeing a guy with a Yachim Boaz and go or Kati say, "Wow, he's the God Ladar." You know, you're not doing that, right? You know, I don't know if you're saying he's the Kati. You're saying where's the English? So I'm saying that this is in those days where it's about peh. So it's a different musik. It was a different musik. So, but again, the point is, the person was learning for not for the right reason. He's learning only for the right reason. So he's an Amoritz. Now, what one person says Amoritz? How is that Amoritz? Now, what does it mean? It's an Amoritz. Shechashal Amaisus Al Tyrus. You can't trust him for being mafish ma'isa, and if he touches tyrus, we're going to say it's tamei midrabanan. How the other opinion we have that was Rabbi Lazar. Shmuel ben Nachmani said he's a bur, garua me'amoretz. It's worse than an amoretz. I think he has no midas. The bur has no midas either. The amoretz can be a fertile mensch. The bur is nishkain mensch. He's bur. Bur means like a field that's empty, guys. A field that's empty. There's no tree. There's no planting. There's nothing there. And a kuti. The next opinion was what? According to Yana, he was a kuti. In other words, extend halacha. You can't eat his pas. You can't eat his yayin. Kuti here means like a goy, guys. He's a goy. The kimin shlei shimish chachamim ain't a makbid al divrei chachamim l'daitam. According to the das, he's not makbid. Leishana elo laharis atzmai. Right? He only learns to show himself as somebody special, but he's not keeping the halachas. So that person is like a goy. And finally, the last opinion, which is very interesting, is the opinion of Rabbi Yaakov how he's a magush. Now, what's a magush? Rashi says mechashef. He's an illusionist. He's an illusionist. He goes ahead and he teaches, with his eye, meaning he fools you. He fools you. He's right? And The goynev es halavavois, and he steals the heart of people. This guy doesn't. He's exactly that. Right. He's exactly that. He makes people think something he's not. Right. What does a magician do?
It sounds like people magic. It's not real.
Yeah, but even magic is real. There's right. There's nothing to it. No, mechashef. This is talking about oiches einayim. This is according to everyone. This is not real black magic. This is not a necromancer. This is This is a Penn and Teller, right? Was Penn and Teller? What? I remember you got taken. You got taken 3-card Monte, and you stayed there. You played them a few times. You got.
I'm gonna get it this time. Get it this time, right?
So who was the smart one there? Anyway. Okay. Amama. Says the so Megusha, what does that mean? I skip. The Amma and people say rotten Megusha. They say Megusha, they say these incantations, they say this chants. Lo yoda my Amar, a tanitada of Lo yoda my Amar. They don't know what they mean. So too over here, the same thing. Just as the Mechashev says something, he doesn't know what he means, so too the person who learns and doesn't know the reason why he's learning, again, he doesn't know what he means. Ezo Amaretz, Kol She'ena Koira Kriyashma, Shachris V'Arvis, V'Birchai Seha. If again, Divrei Reb Meir, these are words of Reb Meir. V'Chacham Maimim, Kol She'ena Meiniach Tefillin, Benaz Yom, Kol She'en Leit Tzitzis B'Bigdai. Reb Yonasan Yosef Aimer, Kol She'yesh Leibanim, Beina Megadol Lumay Torah. Acher Maimim, mother say, I feel Koira B'Shoina. Even you do learn. So let's focus on this a little bit. So there's a whole Indian of saying Kriya Shema in the morning and in the evening, and if you don't, so going down the line, it's like put on tefillin, wear tzitzis, Magad you sent to Torah. Listen to this Marsha. I'm on a roll. Listen to this Marsha. Marsha says the following. The Gemara, this Gemara Menachos. The Gemara says this. You're not supposed to tell this Gemara to an Amoritz that you can be yosi chiyav of learning Kriyas of Torah with Kriya Shema in the morning, Kriya Shema in the evening. You can be yosi chiyav Talmud Torah. Let's not all leave. Okay, so you can be yosi. That's Gemara Menachos. Now. I feel like Kora Adam El Kriyashma Shachas Yarvis Kayim Mitzvahs LaYomash. The Alkain Man the Amar Rishain Amar Shemena Kora Kriyashma V'Loi Mekayim Mitzvahs Talmud Torah Harizam Aretz. The one who says you don't read Kriyashma Yam and Aretz. Why? Because since you can be Yoitza your mitzvah of Talmud Torah with Kriyashma by not doing it, the Bistabur Bisnam Aretz, right? Uman the Amar Sheni, the second opinion that says She'ena Meniach Tefillin. It's like you don't put on Tefillin. Why? Why do you say in Kriyashma? So Hainum Shum Sha'af Shekar Kriyashma, the main Menech Tefillin who made a Sheket Kriyashma. He's being made. He's not putting on Tefillin. He's being made a Sheket Kriyashma. The next man, the Yama, what does he say? He says tzitzis. Right? The last parsha Kriyashma is parsha tzitzis. V'chein shitas ben azay shein like tzitzis b'bigdai. Right? It's a Sheket because what? You don't have. You're not wearing tzitzis. You're being. V'chein isa b'zaya kadosh. V'chein sheina megadol. But in the Talmud Torah, you're not yet to the midst of shinamtam levonecha. So beautifully, right? How each one in the Kriya Shema by not saying it, you're missing tefillin, tzitzis, and the Gadol Talmud Torah. Huh? He's not a Russia. He's not a Russia. He's Pasheya. He's Pasheya benafshay. He's not a Russia. But that's not a Russia. A Russia is when you do something like that's a guy doesn't learn his whole life. He doesn't learn his whole life. But he doesn't affect anybody. He's not a Russia. He's a fool. He's a fool. In other words, I missed the chance, but I'm not a Russia. If you go ahead and you learn Torah, and you go ahead and embarrass somebody, you can learn all the Torah in the world. Then you're a Russia. Yeah. You act upon it, it impacts upon other people. Usually vicious. We spoke out the other day. Why is the guy goes to Bezdin and presents his case, and the guy is listening to that? That's a Russia order, right? Because why is there? It is a Russia because he's affecting somebody else.
He might be a soulmate, right? It's just he's not in the same throat. Says he's over and aloft.
I'm just saying no. He understands. He's a quick learner. Okay, so again, this is one from the most. These are very basic Agatha Gemaras from Masech the site. This Geshmach Gemaras. Okay, says the last in what's the last in over here? Says the Gemara. Acherim say afilu kari b'shayna. If you learn kari means you're learning mikra, you're learning chamish. B'shayna and you're learning mishnayis, right? V'leishimish talmidei chachamim zo amaretz. That's an amaretz like we said above. Karav leishayna harizeh bur, right? he's karv leishana, but he's mishamish tamil chacham pashtus. He's a more like karv leishana. Neither one. Alava kasavoyim pasikina yamim boyim num Hashem. Not good things. Serati espre Yisrael v'espes Yehuda zera adam zera behema. He's nimshal to a behema. Okay. Yora es Hashem v'ni v'melach. This is Shlomo speaking to his son Rechavam. Yeah. Yora es Hashem b'ni v'melach im shoinim al tisarev. So he says that im shoinim, with people who are shoinim al tisarev, you shouldn't be mixed. With people who are shoinim, you shouldn't. So there was a piece of advice from Shlomo HaMelech, the Chacham Mikol Adam, to his son: people who are shoinim, don't get involved with them. Rabbi Yitzchak, who are shoinim, elu shoinim halachos, right? They learn halachos, but they're not mishamash tamidei chachamim. So you got to stay away from them. They're learning mishnayos, but they don't know what the reason is. So look, you have to stay away from such people. Meaning, what other pshat could there be, says Rashi, that you'd have to explain this to us? What other possible pshat is there? I would say shoinim b'chet. It doesn't mean a person who learns halachos and doesn't know the reason. Maybe it's a person shoinim b'chet who repeats an aveira. Once a person does an aveira and repeats it, it becomes heta. So I would think that that's what Shlomo is warning Rechavam. Don't hang around with people who constantly do chatayim, who repeat them. On that Kamash on that, no. You know what Rabbi Yitzchak Pshat is? There's a people who learn Mishnayos, they're not Mishamash Tudei Chachamim. So as a result, they don't know the Gemara, which is the timing of the Mishnayos, and they don't know Psak Halacha. Hana Hatanoyim, those people who learn it, they're not Mishamash Tudei Chachamim. Mavlei Olam, they go ahead and they confuse the world. Literally, they confuse the world. There's a lashon of Mivli, is lashon of Boloi V'Rakav, is a lashon of mad of rotten. They rat the world. Why do they do the world? Why are they makalkin the world? Just because they don't learn? Some ravina shemayim halachim mitoich mishnasan. They're moira halacha from their, and they have no right to. They're moira halacha and they don't know anything. They're moira halacha and mitoich they're learning. They're mavla oilam. That causes a rat to the world. How do you know? A Bryce substantiates this. I'm Rabbi Shua v'chi mavli oilam hey. But people who learn halacha mishnayos and without reason are they mavli oilam? Olam oilam hein. Shenemar halichos oilam loy. It says halichos oilam loy. Chazal say don't read it halichos ela halachos. That someone learns halachos all the time. It's a schus. Ella, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that they learn. It means shemar in halacha mitach mishnasan. They go ahead and they learn Torah. But they don't go ahead and learn the reasons behind it. Again, guys, we don't when we learn Mishnayos, you're looking for the reasons behind them. No one here knows you're passing from Mishnayos. We don't passing from Gemaras. We have a Meslaira. These are people. You learn a Mishnah. Ben Azai says you're in the midst of peer review with two boys. Okay, great. I have two boys. Good. We don't pass them like that. You need the Gemara and Daf Yud Gimel and Erev to tell you that Allah is not like Beis Hillel. You need a boy and a girl. I'm just throwing something off the top of my head. So we said, guys, just going back to the last two dinim of the Mishnah, we spoke about a Rasha Aram. We spoke about a Chassid Shaita, right? We had a few pshatim in Rasha Aram. We had a few pshatim in Rasha Aram. We said yesterday that a person who goes ahead and presents his case clandestinely to the dayan, a person who goes ahead and tells an ani to go ahead and 199 he gives him an extra thing, a person who goes ahead and tells the son who has nechasim muatim go ahead and sell it even though he's messing up the girls who are now going to have to go ahead and they want to have a place in mezainis. We spoke about that. We spoke about the chassid shaita, the guy who says the woman's drowning in the river, I can't have no time to take care of her, she can't touch a woman. We spoke about the chassid shaita. Now there was other things too. There was an isha prusha umakas prushim. So now we're explaining the rest of the Mishnah. What's an isha prusha and what's makas prushim? What exactly is that? Isha prusha tanabanan besula salyonis. You know what that is? That's a young girl. Salyonis in lashon of matzah is a lashon of davening. They daven all the time. They daven all the time. Okay, so if you look at Rashi says. Tzailanis, balis tefillah. She's a balis tefillah. The almana shuvayvis. That's an almana who gets around. She goes from place to place talking to people. And the third person is cotton shlei kol chadashav, a cotton that to complete his years, his months. Okay, so that Rashi the Gemara is going to explain now. So a woman who davens all the time, or a woman who goes around and makes herself appear as she's so friendly and everything to her relatives, to her krivim, her neighbors, and those people are isha prusha. They're not good people. They're mavlei olam. Harelu mavlei olam. Now we'll get back to cotton soon. Ini is really so that besula, that davins and an almana are bad people. From Rabbi Yochanan, lamanu yirescheit mi besula. I learned yirescheit from a young girl. The kibul schar mi almana, and I learned kabbalah schar from almana. What does Rabbi Yochanan mean? Yirescheit mi besula. Where do we learn yirescheit from besula? Rabbi Yochanan shamal hi besula. Dinafla apa. He heard this young girl fell on her face. The kama Rebbeinu shloilam. Barasa gan eden ubarasa gehenim. Barasa tzadikim ubarasa rishayim. Yirasa mufanecha shaloi yikashlu bi b'nei adam. Right, that people should not go ahead and I should not be a source of a michshol for them. And Rabbi Yochanan said he learned yirescheit from this girl. Kibul schar mi almana. With Rabbi Yochanan learned kabbalah schar from an almana. Now who almana that have be kanishta b'shul visa? There was an almana that was in the base knesses in his neighborhood. Kol yuma haviyasi umatzla be midrasha. She would walk from her neighborhood to daven Rabbi Yochanan's base medrash. Rabbi Yochanan, Amalah, biti like base knesses b'shul. Don't you have base knesses where you live? Amalei, Rabbi, don't I get schar for walking? So in other words, so how can you tell me that Mavli Olam is a Besulat Sailonis or Amonish Visa L'chayra? These are fine people. Says the Gemara, no. Kikama, you know what we're talking about. Kigain Yechani Basri TV. Exactly. I was waiting for it. Who? Does anyone have a question? Who might these people be? Baruch Hashem for Rashi, guys. Look, first wide line, guys. First wide line. Kigan Yochani Basra TV. Almona Mechashef Oisa. She was a kishuf macha. Who Kishemagia, benching that means she was a magician. Who Kishemagia Ace Leidas Isha, when a woman would give birth, Itzeres Rachma b'Mechshefos. She'd cast the spell and she would stop the woman from being able to give birth. And after she went through tremendous labor pains, I'm going to go and daven for you. Maybe my tefillah will be heard. Then she would go and she'd take off the spell. She had a worker in her house. I don't know Mexicans in those days, Harold. She went to her Yeledes, she went to the woman's house. The Shoma Haschir Kolak Shofim Miskashkshim the Kli. She heard the call of the Kishuf, they were rattling around in the Kli. Kemosha Vlad Mikashkish B'Me'im, just like the Vlad rattles around in the mother's womb. Ubo Pasachas Makufas Akli. The worker took off the stopper from this Kli. Vakshofim Yaitze, and whatever Kishuf was in there left. Right? Vlad Noilad, and lo and behold, the baby was born. So that's the one we're speaking about as Mavli Olam, the fake one who does these things, right? I think there was a Maisa with who was a rich French guy, Safra, what was his name? You know, the Shas is named after the French Shas, and his butler wanted to get on his good side. He started a fire, and he wanted to put it out and say, "I saved you," and he ended up killing him. I'm saying, but what's his name? Edwin Safra, right? Safra, yeah. So that's what happens. So the same thing over here. This person wants to make herself like a big tzadekis. That's Yochni Basra TV. Do not name your child after this. Okay. Anyway, so we have one more person. So we have the other person is the cotton Shakula Chadashav that he went ahead and causes what and causes Miflei Olam. My cotton Shlei Kol Chadashav. Hachatirgim, we hear in Babel where Metagim is the Talmud Chacham, a Mavit B'Rabboisav. A Talmud Chacham who's Mavit, he rebels against his Rabbeim. Says Rashi, 3 lines from the bottom. The Korele Cotton Shlei Kol Chadashav Al Yedei Sheyoma Miskatzrim. He's going to die early. Kedaminam Perakam Chagiga. Person rebels against his Rebbe, he'll die early. So therefore, he's considered like a cotton that didn't finish his Chadashim. That's one's Mavli Olam. Rabbi Abba Omer said Talmud Shlei Yigila Hayra Loira Umara. It's a Talmud that didn't reach the age of Hayra to be Moira. He didn't know enough and he taught anyway. So he's Mavli Olam. He's Mavli Olam. That's another pshat. And Kula Chadasha means he didn't reach the age of or the point of being Hayra. Many chalalim, many dead people you've heaped up. Vatsumim kol harogecha, and many are those that killed. Ki rab chalalim pilas et talmid chacham shlo yigi lahayra umayra. Nonetheless, he is parking. Anyway, umayra at sumim kol harogecha is that talmid chacham shlo yigi lahayra vein umayra. If you look in the Rabbi Moshe's Chuvas in the first sefer, he brings this the Gemara as a source that how he can paskin. He said l'chayra he doesn't. They want to. He said l'chayra I know something. So like he was so humble. It's really crazy. It's a beautiful. It's really really nice. Very very nice. Anyway, I think my Rabbi said that when his father-in-law died before the wedding. And then Rav Chaim Moshe made him a dayan. He took the father-in-law's place. This was in 1930. My Rebbe was 22 years old. He was born in 08. Someone came to him from Psak and said to him, he goes, why are you asking me? Go to Rav Chaim Moshe. So Rav Chaim Moshe sent him a letter and said, you want to go ahead and I made you a dayan on the Villa Bezdin. You want to accept your paycheck? He goes, you paskin. My Rebbe said from that time on, he never had any sphere paskin. So Rav Chaim Moshe said, you can paskin. Rav Gusman. He said from that time on, Rav Chaim Moshe said you paskin. He said Rav Chaim Moshe told him paskin, so you paskin. Now again, this Gemara. He didn't. Now, what's the question? Listen to the ad kama. How old do you have to be? Arabayim. I can tell you, my Rebbe wasn't 40. Fred the Gemara, Abram Shon, 40 years. Fred the Gemara v'harabo. Some people are goris Rava. But Rava or Rabba, they were out. We had this Gemara Rosh Hashanah. We said that Eli were cursed. They won't live to a certain period of time, right? Said 18, they died at 18. But they said that Rava or Rabba who had Torah lived 40 years, and Abaye who had Torah Ma'asim Tovim lived 60 years. So the Chayra, Rabba or Rava, whichever, that's the famous, the Gersa, whoever it is, right? So the Chayra, he wasn't 40 and he's paskin. He died at 40. So the Chayra, afraid the Gemara, how can he paskin? And the Gemara, Bishavin. Rashi explains, guys, Bishavin. In Shava Legadol Ha'ir, if he's equal to the person of the city, B'chachma, Mutal Lahayres is permitted to paskin. Or there's no one older than him in the city. So that seems to be, we have people who paskin despite the fact that other people, even if they're younger, then they know something and then it reached so it could be that's the head. Okay, the last thing in the Mishnah is Makas Prushim, right? What's Prushim? People who make themselves parish, they're holier than thou. They're holier than thou. Tan Rabbanim. Shiva Prushim. There's 7 type of Prushim. Parish Shechmi, Parish Nakafi, Parish Kizai, Parish Meduchia, Parish Ma Chevasi Ve'asena, Parish Me'ava, Parish Me'yera. Okay, now going back over every one of them. Parish Shechmi, Zel Oisa Maisa Shchem. Rashi, Maisa Shchem, Shemalu Shaloi L'Shem Shemayim. They do a bris milah Shaloi L'Shem Shemayim. Avzeh Maisa V'lan Osai. So to this parish is Maisa his own hana. Sheyichabdu b'nei Adam V'loi L'Shem Shemayim. He does it like people of Shem. They didn't do it for the right reason. They did it for Igili Arroyos. So to over here, they go ahead and act a certain way. That's called a parish shichmi. That's the next one. Is a parish nakafi. Rashi says, what is nakafi? Nakef biraglov. Mahalech b'shaflos akev itzad gadol. Walks very slowly with his heel to his big toe. All right. Ve'enu marim raglov min haaretz. He doesn't lift his feet above the ground. When we toichkaf min nakef et spoisa ba'avanim, his toes get knocked into what stones. So that's why he's called a parish nakafi. So parish, he makes himself like a very, the walk. Right? We all do it, right? Right. So the and next. So Hamanakif Esraglov, Parish Kizai, that's literally a kus is a bloodletter, guys. It says, what does that mean? Amrav Nachma Yitzchak, Zamakas Dam Liksalim. He's Makas Dam in the walls. Look at Rashi. Makas Dam Liksalim. Oisa Atzmai Ka'oitzameinav. He makes it like he closes his eyes. So he stakel benashim, so he shouldn't look at the women. And we toich kach, Maka Roishlai Bekoislav Adam Yaitse, bangs into a wall and Asayidas. Tell you, unbelievable Mordechai, guys. It's an unbelievable Mordechai. Just popped into my head this second. I think it's an Eruvin. The Rashbam and Rabbeinu Tam were brothers. The Rashbam, they were both grandchildren of Rashi. Rashi had 3 daughters. So the Rashbam, Rabbeinu Tam, two of the Gedali Rishonim, they were brothers. And one time they were walking, and it seems Rabbeinu Tam would walk looking, and the Rashbam was always looking down. And they were going to go into a carriage. So they didn't have automobiles, they were going to a carriage. And the Rashbam was looking down, almost went in the carriage. Rabbeinu Tam showed him, it was like, it was mixed breeds. It was like a shar and something else, and a donkey or something. I don't remember, but they weren't the same one. They would have been over the Shorach and Yachto. So Rabbeinu Tam gave him a zug like frumkeit. He's such a frummer, right? That you look down, that you almost went into a carriage that you would have been over Isser of like Sakra Shorach and Yachto. You know, go together. Anyway, so that popped into my head. Anyway, right there. Oh, so that's machal. Porish meduchya. Amar Rav Shila the mishafa ki meduchya. He quoted kofa. Meduchya seems to be a pestle, the type of mortar and a pestle. You knock that. I don't know whichever is which. It's the top part, and it's bent over. So you go ahead right in like a spike. You have a bent over spike. This guy walks over kofa. If he walks like like the Asher Yotza guy, like this guy, Anyway. Porish machayvasi ve'esena. The porish must tell me my choiv and I'll do it. Right? That's a chomar al yisei. That's a good thing. He doesn't know something. Says my Ella the Omar machayvasi su ve'esena, meaning he doesn't do anything. He goes, give me a little more. He's saying, I want more chumras. I want more chumras. Right? I want more chumras. He doesn't do anything. Porish me'ava porish me'yera. Amalei abai v'rava latana leitese porish me'ava porish me'yera. Now let's see Rashi, guys. Okay, says Rashi. Porish me'ava schar ha-mitzvah, the love of the mitzvah, the loyla avas mitzvah saboire, but not to do the ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Guys, a mitzvah means a command. We're avodim. A mitzvah means a command. It doesn't mean a good deed. A good deed is nice, but that's not what a mitzvah means. A mitzvah is a command. That's what it is. The lashon tzivui. And we are, so if you're doing it for yourself, for your own hana, that's not the purpose of the mitzvah. You're not doing it for the command. That's parish me'ava. What's me'yera? Shalonchin. He's worried about being punished. Elama ala adam la'asais me'avas Hashem yisbarach kasher tzivani Hashem Elokeinu b'seif haschar lovay. Serve Hashem for the tzivah. You don't worry about the schar. Don't worry about the schar. Okay, back in the Gemara. Remember Yehuda Marav. Lo'ilam yasuk adam b'torah mitzvah safilu shaloi lishma shemitay shaloi lishma ba lishma. Okay, very very famous piece. Kashas, guys, the Taisus over here. You could see yourselves, but I'd like to share with you something I sent out from Rav Chaim Volozhin. Yes, stop saying. All right, there we go. No. That's the kasha. So that's the kasha. No, it's not really a kasha. It's not really a kasha, but I'm saying that so the Pirish over here, Taisus learns that Einachinami, that a person does this will come to that. But I want to share with you guys this fantastic piece from Rav Chaim Volozhin. It's quoted. This is quoted verbatim. What? I just picked up the wrong thing. Yeah, so I sent you today, right? I sent you today, but I have to go back to over here. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. I don't have what I want. It's not on my thing here. Give me that. Give me that for a second. Okay. I'm just going to stop the recording for a second. Okay, you can see this, guys? Yeah? Okay. Umitzah lehevi estirei bal nefesh achayim b'shar gimel per gimel. Shepirish inyan maima Rav Yehuda Amarav of that what kol the olam yasik olam b'mitzvah shaloi l'shma shemitosh shema l'shma b'lishma. Right. The gam ki be'emes kemat bilti efsha lovay take it b'tchilas kaviyas limudoi l'madregas l'shma karoi. When you began learning as a little boy, or even as a younger man, it's not possible to believe that a person could be the madrega l'shma right away. It's not possible. Ki ha'isik b'torah shaloi l'shma hu l'madrega shemitoich kach yochel lovay l'madregas l'shma. In other words, it's the natural thing for a person to first learn shaloi l'shma to cancel the Shema. He'll also be loved by Hashem. Don't think Shaloi Lishma is a bad thing, because the only way to cancel the Shema is Shaloi Lishma. And even if you learn Shaloi Lishma, you'll be beloved by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kimoi, listen to his tushtel. Shebilti Ev Shalales Mea Aretz La'aliyah, and Loi Derech Madregas Asulam. You can't go up a ladder. It's not possible. You can't get to the Aliyah without first climbing the rungs of the ladder. You can't get to the Lishma without the Shaloi Lishma. Well, is that Omer Pesachim? La'olam Yasik Adam B'Torah Mitzvah Afil Shaloi Lishma? Omra. That's what says. La'olam. What does La'olam mean? Ratza Loimar B'Kvius all the time. Hainu Shebetchilas Limudoi Ein Mechuyev Rak Sheyilmoi B'Kvius Tamid Yom V'Layla. Guys, La'olam means just learn. Learn as much as you can, and don't think about Lishma Shaloi Lishma. La'olam Yasik Adam B'Torah Mitzvah Shaloi Lishma. Ba'af im lefamim vada yipol machshavasai eza paneho legarmeha l'shum geyus v'kovik yotza. So you're learning, and along the way, you feel good about yourself. Well, once in a while, I give a share, and the guys they smile. I feel wow, and there's nothing to do with any good machshavas. It's all about laser stern. That's zero about you. On a nightly basis, no, but I'm saying it happens. I do this to Shema. I really do. I do it because I love it. But you get a feeling. You say a good shtickle Torah. A guy says, repeats it and smiles. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. And people, we're people. Right. Ba'af im moment time. Ba'af im lefamim vada yipul machshavasai ezet pina legarme l'shum geyos l'kovid chayotza im kol zeh al yosim leiv lifresh. Don't think of stopping. Oilis rapis imenu to be weakened from it. Ba'avazeh ches v'shalom elad rabba yischazek ma'oid basic hatayra. Go ahead and be oisik ma'oid. V'yeh nachain libay betuach, and you can be assured. Shevada yavai mitoich kach l'madregas l'shma. Keep at it. Don't think for a second. Don't let the Yetzer Hara stop you. Say, "Well, I'm doing this Shaloi Lishma." I once heard a share from Rav Zatzal, and about how a person should Shaloi Lishma. I asked him, "How long should a person learn Lishma?" So he goes, "I think he said 30 years old." He said, "He said Shidduchim." I told him Shidduchim Shaloi Lishma. He goes, "That's fine. It's okay." Yeah. So was. In other words, a mensch is a mensch. Chaim Elashon, the guy is telling us an unbelievable aside. Right? The Yetzer will tell you, you're learning Shaloi Lishma, so don't learn it all. No, get out of here. Get out of here. And even if you're learning Lishma, and once in a while it comes in Shaloi Lishma, Hashem loves you. Stop that. V'chein hu gam came be'inyan ha-mitzvah al derech zeh. Right? And any mitzvah al derech zeh. Because of oid sham b'seif devarif at the end of his words, the gam in nira shekol yimei chayav minu urav ad zikna, from the old days of his life, from his youth till his old age. The seva hoya osku ba shaloi lishma. The guy, his whole life was doing shaloi lishma. Gam kein ata chayav linig ba covered. You got to give this person covered. You got to. The kol shkein shaloi levzoisei chas v'shalom, and certainly not to be avazim. Shekim she'osik b'toras Hashem b'temidis. A person's osik in Torah Hashem all the time. Bilti safik shoya kavanasei pamim rabbi skam lishma. You got a guy who's learning his whole life Shaloi Lishma. I guarantee you, somewhere along the way, he got it. Why? Because it says, you learn Shaloi Lishma, you can count to Lishma. So even he had a few minutes in his life, you got to give him cover for that. It's a Gavaldiga piece, guys. It's a Gavaldiga piece. Anyway, so ki eina pirish dafka sheyavei mizel lishma at she'acha kach yasik but tamid kol yavar rak lishma. If you learn like a balabas, guys, la'olam yasik olam Torah shaloi lishma shemitay shaloi lishma. So what? You begin your life, and guess what? Shaloi lishma, and then you get to the madrega lishma, and you're perfect for the rest of your life. That's not pshat. That's not the way it works. It doesn't work like that. How does it work? It works. Do it Shaloi Lishma, and you'll come to Lishma. And even when you come to Lishma, there'll be plenty of times that why you're not Lishma. And if the person did most of the time Shaloi Lishma, there'll still be times that he does it Lishma. I need the end. I don't have a second piece over here, right? There's a second piece there, guys. There's a second piece that, right? A little one. Yeah, a little one, right? The little one is the other. 1 second. You can use it. I have the little one. Yeah, the little one. Here you go. You can take it. Yeah. So I don't know why I gave it to you because it's foolish because I have it over here. Anyway. Okay, so let now. Elahainu shebechol pam shu loimi v'kviyas man kama shoyis ritufim. A person learns many hours. It should be on the other page now, the small page. Af shederach klal hoysta kavnasas shol yishma. Nonetheless, in kol zeh bilti efshe klal shlo yidichsu beliboy be'emsa alimud al kaponim zman muad kavona ritzuya lishma. It's not possible. It's not possible that if you're learning shaloi lishma, that at some point in time, guys, it was nichlesim lishma. Me'ata kol ma shalomad adhein. Guys, listen to this. Me'ata kol ma shalomad adhein shaloi lishma niskadesh v'nitahar al yidei oisei ha'eis kotin shekifin ba lishma. You hear it takes. It's like all your zedonus were forgiven, right? You know, mamish. It takes us ahead. It makes it lishma. No, it makes it a mitzvah. You have various mitzvahs, right? You have various mitzvahs. The chain who b'seifa hafla, the hafla also the hafla. The psichas era wrote this. The b'seifa ben Yoyada, they say this. Gewaldig. The hair is tremendous. Tremendous. The hair is. Right? Yeah, now I feel like Shlosh Shema to giving this over to you guys. No, I'm saying it's a gewaldige thing, right? You hear. You know what the bottom line is? Very often, what are we guilty of? That when the Yetzer Hara kills us, and you think that how could Hashem has to do something? What we don't realize is Hashem engineered us. He knows exactly what we are. And this is the classic case of it, that the Yetzer Hara is going to kill you, says Reb Chaim Voloshin Chas v'Shalom, not even for a second. You're spending all the Shaloi Lishmas in your life will become Lishma. For the little time that you do Lishma, you'll Niskadesh v'Nitayr is Lashon, a beautiful Lashon. Niskadesh v'Nitayr will become Lishma. It's Gavaldik piece. Kedai to come, right? Kedai to come tonight the other piece, no? Gavaldik. Rav Nachman Yitzchak, the Mitamra Tzidin Shemayim is hidden, the Megali, what's revealed is revealed. Right? It says Rashi, and the stars from Bnei Adam, they're hidden from people, gluyas, and that's revealed. Beidina Rabbah, however, the Bezdin in Shemayim, Lispari Mahane Dechafin Gondi, they'll take retribution from those people who cover their head with the talis. In other words, this guy can appear like the biggest tzaddik in the world. You have no idea. You have no idea. We're very judgmental when it comes to what our eye sees. You never know. Your mamish never know. I know a kid. You know, you heard from a wolf in a wolf in sheep's clothing. I know a kid is a sheep in wolf's clothing. He like covers up by the ears by dressing like weird. And Bemis, the guy who learns Torah all the time and is great in learning, but you wouldn't know it. So he walks into a shul and people think he's weird. You'll see another guy walk into the shul with its tzitzis hanging out and got the good hat and everything, and you never know what he's holding. Don't judge people. Don't be so judgmental. You never know. You just never know. Never know. Anyway, so when we come up on the Bezdin Agadol, that's the Bezdin Rabbah. Hulam Galuyais, it's all revealed. Who Yiframin Hamischasim B'Talisais, and that Bezdin is going to take retribution. Rashi says those people who cover their heads with the Talesim, Umarin Asman Keprushim, and they make themselves like Prushim, and they're not Prushim at all. Okay. Amalo Yanai Malko Yanai said to his wife, Al Tisroi min HaPrushim. Listen, I wasn't such a good guy. I killed the Chachamim. And I killed Yanai, and I became a Tzedoki. But don't worry, the Prushim, they're not going to take revenge because they don't go ahead and revenge people who only people who hurt them directly. My kids, they're not hurt them, they're not going to take. So don't be scared. And certainly the people who are not Prushim that are on side, you don't have to worry about, right? So the black and white guys you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about El Min Hatzavuyim. You have to worry about the guys whose colors, right? You don't know, right? Why? Shedoimim le Prushim b'maseyem. They look like Prushim in the way they dress and they act. Kamaisa Zimri, but excuse me. Elaminat Swim, Shedoim le Prushim, Shemaseyim Maisa Zimri. Their actions are Maisa Zimri. They're Rishoyim, they want schar right? Like Pinchas, who said Lebriya is the Chadnon ke Pinchas, and Umavakshin schar ke Pinchas. Let's see Rashi over here. Elamin hat Tzuvoyim, Kloimar, Sheim Areyim Kitol Dasam. Their appearance is their colors are not like their birth. On the outside, they look one way. Vein toichin kabarim, but the inside they're another way. Shemasein k'maisa zimri shein m'shoyim. However, umavachshin schar kepinchis. So oimrim lebriyos lechabdon kepinchis. Give us cover like pinchis. They can fashion lo linyan sniusa. They're speaking about snius, and we'll cut it over here.
Good.